Obviously, in the last game yesterday, you guys lost 7-1 to the Lowell Angels, and Nick Godfrey threw a three-hitter against you guys. What are your thoughts on your team's performance and how tough it was to face him?
Nick's a veteran. He's been around the leagues for a while. He knows how to pitch. He mixes it well. Um, a couple of our guys just returning yesterday as well. We haven't been able to gel as much yet. We've been missing guys. 28 is usually tough to get, like, your full team there all the time. So, missing a couple guys playing for the first time, we still got a long way to go. I think by like mid-July around there, hopefully, we can all start gelling and clicking together.
Obviously, the Angels are also the defending champions, being the top run scoring team in the 28 plus division, having two of the best pitcher in Godfrey and then Brock Riley as well. And you guys have been outscored 23-7 in their two matchups, or in your two matchups this season. So when you face them in your next matchup, what do you have to do differently as a team to be able to come up on top?
I think we got to play clean defense. We've been playing bad defense both games we played them. We have to have better team at bats. Guy from guy to guy, you have to pass the baton. Sometimes we have one good at bat and then two or three sloppy at bats the next ones. So we have to have it all put together. I think we've played on this Sunday coming up again.
You have a game, I believe, in between that as well.
Yes, tomorrow.
Okay. Any keys to that game? To make sure you kind of go back to 500.
Tomorrow we're gonna be missing a few guys again because we have the Intercity League that we play on too. So we'll be missing some guys for that game, and it's a tough Cambridge Spanish team. They're really good. They're deep. Veterans have been playing in the league for a while. They know how to win. They won championships. So it's gonna be another tough battle. It's gonna be a tough week this week for us.
And then obviously you guys are at the moment 2-3 on the season. So how do you evaluate your season so far for the Expos? And yeah, just how do you evaluate the season so far?
It's been really slow start for us. I think we had one pretty good game against the Pirates, but besides that, it's been really slow. Hope to start picking it up now, having more guys show up to more games, and we need to turn the corner soon.
Mm. And then, you're kind of right in the middle of the offensive success of this team being you're leading your team in hits, leading your team in RBIs. What's your approach at the plate? And how do you help get your team going when you are having tough moments or even when you're having a lot of success?
Um, me knowing as a veteran guy that we're missing guys, I know how key it is for me to be a big part of the offense. So I'm just trying to have really good at bats, hunt some fastballs, and not try to do too much.
One thing I just thought of as I was thinking about your team's performance yesterday and just the game in general is one thing that kind of stood out from Godfrey was the fact that he was throwing a lot of very effective breaking balls that seemed to be giving you guys problems. And so I just want to see what your perspective on that was.
Yeah, he actually ended up striking me out my last at bat with a lot of changes. I seen I think about four changeups in that at bat, and it really keeps you off balance. He has a pretty good fastball that rides in on you as a righty. Then curveball, changeup. Mixing it well is really tough to get in a groove against him. You gotta just go up there and pick out which one you want to hit. You gotta go up to the plate with an approach. Either I'm sitting on the curveball, or I'm sitting on the fastball, or looking for a changeup, and then just stick with that plan. If you don't stick with that plan, then you're most likely gonna get out.
So over the course of your baseball career in Boston, baseball, have you had a mentor that shaped your approach at the plate, and what is the best advice you've ever been given to be successful?
When I used to play with the East Boston Knights, Bertar Dugno, he was a veteran before me, and he played a lot of games in the Hockey League. And he would, every before every game, he would coach us what to go through, like when you approach. If this guy's throwing, like for example, yesterday for Godfrey, he would have told us you got to look for the ball up because he's going to be throwing good curveballs and off speed that you're not going to be able to hit him down. So you have to look for the ball up. And it used to help out a lot when I used to play with Bertar Dugno. Also, Mike Terrio, I play with him now. He just joined us in the 28th, and he's been around a lot too. He's always in our ear about what to do, what approach to have for if you're swinging and you're opening up early. He's always there to help you out too.
All right, and then are there any specific teammates or coaches that you want to highlight from the Expos or any of your teams that you've played for that really should be getting more attention and that you want to be able to compliment on this interview?
Hmm, that's a good question. We have um we have a few guys, that are new to the league, like Desai, V Desai. He played yesterday. Came in and played second base. Um, Corey Burrows, catcher for us. He's a sneaky player who does a lot for us. Is always there and plays well. For my Intercity League team, we have Idelson Tavares, which people don't really know about that much, but he's a really good spark plug for the team. He's always getting on base and hitting good pitching. So I mean, I would think, actually Matt Donovan too. He's a pitcher for us in the Intercity League. He's a really good young pitcher that nobody knows about too.
Okay, and then what kind of impact did those players have, on your team and on, your own approach at the plate and just how successful you guys have been in whatever team that you've been on?
Well, those guys just motivate you to be better. When they do good things, you want to be, you want to match their efforts and help them out as well. So they motivate you.
All right. And then obviously one other big thing that's happened this year for you is you guys are you were on Team Dominican Republic that won the Boston World Baseball Classic. So for those who missed it, can you give a quick recap of what happened and what role you played in winning that championship?
So my role is I'm a player coach, mostly coaching, but you do my DH and play first base here and there because I like to have veteran guys in the lineup as well. For the veteran guys, really we only have about two or three. A lot of the team is young. Um, so this has been a work in progress for this team, man. We had 2 years in a row where I thought we should have won it. We had a pretty good team, very talented, but we didn't execute when the time mattered, either big errors or base running mistakes or missed bunts. And I really just drilled them in the group chat the whole offseason, the whole winter. I said, listen, we have the talent. You guys talk about it. You guys, you want to be about it, but you have to walk the walk. And I kept pushing them and pushing them. And this year we came in, we had two tough games right off the bat. USA Blue and then USA Red. USA Blue won last year's tournament. USA Red won the one before. Really good games. We won 5-2, I believe, the first game, and then 4-3 the second game. Really, really good games. And then we got the one seed, so we were able to play, one of the teams that had a playing game. So for the first game of the playoffs, it was a little bit easier, not much pitching left for the other teams. And we cruised to a big victory. And then for the finals, it was a barn burner, man, just how it was last year. And this year we got it done. We executed. We didn't make those mistakes. Our pitchers threw the strikes, So that's how we came out to win the 2-1, and it felt good. I was really happy for the guys. It was a long time coming. They worked really hard for this, and I'm really proud of them.
Was there a player? I mean, I'm assuming obviously there was an MVP for the team for your team that won the that tournament in the WBC. So who had the biggest impact on your team and winning the entire thing?
So that one was a tough one because in reality I wanted to pick three guys for MVP for their finals, but I had to go with one. Idelson Tavares, who I just mentioned, he ended up winning it. He had a amazing catch out in center field that saved some runs. Like, I can't even believe he still fielded that ball. I seen the ball on the ground. I don't know how I don't know how he's had that ball in his glove. Big hit as well. But we also had Hamlet Peralta come in to close the game. He's throwing 93 to 95, just throwing fireballs right past people. He came in with bases loaded, one out. We're up 2-1. One ball in play gets you to tie the game. He just shut down strikeout, and then came back in the seventh inning and closed the door. And also the starting pitcher, Reflin, he pitched awesome, man. He went six in the third, and he kept them at bay, 1 run against a really good hitting team. So those three guys were my MVP. The biggest impacts are obviously Idelson, with his big hit in the field, and then Peralta come and close the door, man. He was lights out that day. As for the team, it's still early to tell. We have a long season to go. Um, as you've seen, Jose Toledano, he's a veteran. He came in yesterday, had first time playing all year, and had two hits for us. So we have a couple guys, like I said, decide, if he shows up to enough games too. We have a couple guys that will be vying for that spot. So it's still a long season to determine that.
If
Yeah.
you want to just talk about your manager's impact or Paul's impact on the team and like why he's so important to your team.
Paul, he's been around for a long time. He's won some championships before, so he knows, how to win. Mostly about him is his passion. He's a very passionate guy. Yesterday we lost, and he was writing the group chat an hour later, speaking about the next game, and turn the page and moving forward. He's really passionate. He's always messaging me, "Hey, can you check with this guy? Can you check with this guy? What can we do to get better?" So he's really into it. He's really passionate, and that ends up showing, a lot of the guys support that and rally behind him.
So just quickly changing topics back to the WBC, do you plan to return to the Boston WBC next season? And what is your goal for that tournament?
So my heart tells me yes, because I want to defend the title, but it's a long way to go. Depending. I don't plan to play 18 plus baseball next year. I plan to just play on 28 plus. So it depends. I think right now I'm probably like 75% in. Yes. I don't want to defend the title. It's a fun tournament, but things could change down the road. So let's see how it all works out. But yes, I do plan to come back and defend the title as of right now.
Salima at third. Swing and a miss! The Middlesex Expos have done what nobody has done in the Intercity League in 8 years. They have defeated the Lexington Blue Sox in the Intercity League Championship Series. They win their first ICL championship in their second year in the league.
Last time you were on this channel, obviously we were previewing the WBC in 2023, I
Yes.
believe. And so obviously you guys also had won, or your team in the Intercity League had won the championship, the Middlesex Expos, in 2022. So how has your team fared since we last talked, and what does your future look like with that team as well?
So that team we won 2022, and I also won the 28th with the Cardinals. That's when we ended up doing the interview. But then we went on to 2023, and we were up 2-0 in the finals, and we lost, our complete team to college, second, third, fourth, and fifth hitter. They all had to leave little by little, and we ended up losing that series. Coming back, they came back and won the next three on us. Then after that, at the time we were merged with the Stoneham Sabres. So after that, the teams broke apart and we lost some guys. We had to rebuild. Last year we struggled a little bit. We had a really good semifinal series versus the Lexington Blue Sox. 1-0, 1-0 the first two games. It was really fun, competitive, which is the reason why I came back this year to play. That playoff series gave me the taste that, this is why I still play. And now we're here this year, and I think we have a pretty good team. Still missing like two more guys to show up, two of our better hitters, but I think we have a pretty good team to compete for a championship again this year. If everything works well and all the guys stay healthy and stuff, I think we'll be back to fighting for a championship hopefully.
Perfect. And then, so you're playing for the Middlesex Expos. You're playing for the Boston Expos in the 28 plus division, and you said the Cardinals as
Yeah,
well.
no, the Cardinals have moved on to the 38 plus now, so I'm not playing with them anymore.
Okay, so just the Middlesex and Boston Expos.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you could give me one reason or one main reason why each of those teams could win the championship in their respective divisions or leagues, what is it and why?
I think that for the Intercity League, we're very hungry. We ever since we came into the league, we had made the finals except last year. So we're looking to get back there and go back and win the championship. Some of those guys that played in the championship are back too. So we have like a good core of the other guys that played in the championship. I would say like seven guys around there are back. So I think that that we have that little edge that we want to get back to to where we were. For the 28 division, we just have a team that is really like that gets along well, good camaraderie. Um, I feel like for 28s is all about just getting hot at the right time, as the Angels did last year in the playoffs. We get hot at the right time towards the end of August, going into September. I think we can fare well. It's a tough league though. Four good teams are going to be I think they're going to be battling for the championship between the Bombers, the Spinners, the Angels, and us. Really tough, semifinal matchups coming up. So we have to be clicking on all cylinders.
All right, fair enough. And then, if you could, to anyone who's watching, why should people come watch your leagues that you both play in, both the Intercity League as well as the BMBL, and what they can look forward to this season?
There's a lot of guys that played pros, college, high levels of baseball, very knowledgeable guys. They play the game hard, they play the game the right way. It's very competitive. You never know what you're gonna see when you go out there, man. You can see some. I've seen some games that is instant classics. So like, the more people show up, the more they end up seeing it and liking it. Every time I invite somebody over to the games, they leave and they're happy. They're like, oh wow, this is good baseball. So I definitely encourage people to go and watch it.